You're watching News Channel 11 in your corner at noon.
14 years ago was the worst terrorist attack in U.S. history. September 11, 2001. Nearly 3,000 people died when hijackers flew two planes into the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and outside Shanksville, Pennsylvania. You're watching News Channel 11 at noon. I'm Casey Marler. America paused this morning on the anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. Marley Hall has the story from Lower Manhattan in New York.
The first bell rang at 8:46, the moment American Airlines Flight 11 slammed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. For family members who return to Ground Zero year after year, emotions are still raw. 2,753 people died when both towers of the World Trade Center collapsed.
If I were to have one wish in this world, it would be to meet my dad.
Many clutched photos of their loved ones as the names of the victims were read.
Michael George Archinsky.
14 years after the attacks, Lower Manhattan is rebuilt and thriving again. But New Yorkers and visitors say they will always treat this area as hallowed ground.
When I'm down here, I constantly think about it. I look at what's going on now, and it's a great sense of pride.
At the White House, President and Mrs. Obama paid tribute to the victims. There was also a ceremony at the Pentagon where 184 people died, and in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where passengers and crew fought back against the terrorists and brought down United Flight 93 before it could reach Washington. At Ground Zero, families and friends visit the two reflecting pools and rub the names of their loved ones, determined to fulfill their promise to never forget. Marley Hall, CBS News, New York.
Across the nation, flags were lowered and ceremonies held to remember one of the darkest days in American history. At 7 a.m. this morning, members of ETSU's Army ROTC, students and community members gathered on campus to remember the events of 9/11. Captain Jay Emberton, operations officer of the ROTC, asked people to take a moment to reflect on what happened on this day 14 years ago.
Unless we talk about how we felt and the things that took place, we begin to mark it as just another sad day on the calendar. And it's important that we have these ceremonies so that we remember and understand the causes and the results of the horrible day.
There will be another 9/11 memorial event held tonight in Kingsport at 6 p.m. 3,000 American flags were placed in Memorial Park across from Dobbins Bennett High School this week to honor those lives lost. That event begins once again 6 p.m. tonight in Memorial Park in Kingsport.